Wildcat Football Weekly, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, home of the official U of A debit card. Get yours today at hughesfcu.org.
Welcome to our season debut of Wildcat Weekly with head coach Kevin Sumlin. The Wildcats open the 2018 season Saturday night when they host BYU at Arizona Stadium. It's always a fun week as we get set for the first game. And Coach, before we get to the first game, you've been on duty now for months. One thing that the returning players said early on after meeting you and your staff is that they bought into what you wanted. And I think you've made the same comment about the players. Talk about the transition in terms of the returning players and how quickly they have adapted to your system.
Well, it's an ongoing process, I think. And, as I said when I first got here, our goal as a coaching staff was to try to earn our players' trust. And that's a two-way street, and be consistent in what you do and let players know the expectations. And like we say around here all the time, you're only responsible for the information that you have. So don't assume anything. Let them know what you expect and hold them to those standards. And I think our guys have done a nice job of doing that, coaches and players, in a transitional period, because I'm a firm believer that, with trust, growth happens a lot quicker, and on both sides. And the last 7-8 months, I think we've come a long way, but it's still an ongoing process. So
as part of that, what has stood out to you in terms of them adapting and taking on the assignments you've given them?
Well, I think it's, the communication piece becomes important. And, it's not just as I've said, it's not just a one-way street. We're not just talking at you or to you. It's you got to talk to us, and we need feedback, right or wrong. If you don't like it, or you do like it, we may or may not change what we're doing, but everything we do is for a reason. It's planned, and I think our guys understand it, and more so than any other time. I've done this 30 years, and I think everybody's kind of seen, young people change. And when I was a player, you just did what Coach said. Now these guys want to know why, and so if you understand and explain the why, I think it makes a lot more sense to this generation, and these guys have been fabulous about it.
I wanted to ask you about a couple different units, and let's start on the defensive line. And those who have followed Arizona football know that size matters, and there's needed to be more size. You could put some 300-pounders up on the defensive line. How important can that be to the ultimate success of the team?
Well, obviously, the bigger the better a lot of times, particularly up front. And there's an old saying, it says what quickness can slow down in a game, but big stays big. And so, we've worked very hard. I think our strength and conditioning program, nutrition, recruiting profiles have changed, and that's going to be important for us to, and not just to have one crew of those guys, but those big guys get tired in there. We need to have, as many of them as we can to rotate them in the game and keep them fresh.
Khalil Tate has earned a lot of headlines, and deservedly so. Do you have expectations for him? How do you want him to handle all the headlines going into the season?
Well, he's done a nice job this summer. I thought it began at, obviously, people didn't know about the Sports Illustrated photo shoot. He didn't even tell anybody, didn't tell his parents, but he's done a nice job. He did a nice job at the Pac-12 Media Days. And I think the attention that he got there and the exposure,
when did he know you could do this?
He handled that very, very well. But it's ongoing. Right now it's like anything else. We haven't lost a game, so everybody's pretty happy right now. As I said, this is the best part of the year when, as a coach or as a player, because you're undefeated right now, and the excitement is there for him individually and for our team.
So Coach Satake from BYU is obviously looking at film of Arizona, film of A&M, trying to figure out what you're going to do. They have some changes as well, so it's not that your staff has a big advantage.
Right.
What do you expect from BYU come Saturday night?
Well, it's one of the larger defenses it will play in this whole year, regardless of league. They were 6th in the country in total defense last year. Very well coached, very good defense. 340. We're talking about us for 300 pounds. They got 340-pound guys inside, and a 6'9", 280-pound defensive end. This is a large football team, and they've played a lot of football together, which is going to present a real challenge for us.
So you walk out of the stadium on Saturday night, hopefully with a win. So you've got a win. What's the next thing that you hope to see out of your team?
It's just, we talk here in this room about, all right, the biggest compliment you can give a coach or as a team is when other coaches or other fans or anybody says, man, those guys play hard. Then, we'll fix the other piece, but if we are doing the best we can, if we're playing as hard as we possibly can, giving great effort, and eliminating our own mistakes, 5-yard penalties, pre-snap penalties, things like that, and hanging on the ball and substitution, no substitution errors, things that get you beat, quite honestly. If we can come through that and be that kind of football team, they'll give us a chance to win a lot of games.
Cats and the Cougars Saturday night, 7:45 kickoff. Hope to see you at the stadium. And more of our Wildcat Weekly right after
this. Life is what you make it, full of endless possibilities and opportunities at every corner. In our fast-paced world, Hughes helps you with what matters most, delivering dreams, adding value to your life. Where you bank matters. For you, your family, and your future. We are local, rooted in the community you call home. Join us on the journey of life. Hughes Federal Credit Union, ranked the #1 credit union in Arizona by Forbes.
Wildcat Football Weekly continues, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, ranked by Forbes as the #1 credit union in Arizona. Learn more at hughesfcu.org/Best Credit Union.
Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles, one of the leaders of the Wildcats defense, will be on the field, of course, Saturday night. Wildcats open up against BYU. Demetrius, a lot of changes over the offseason, and yet Marcel Yates back as defensive coordinator, a lot of your teammates back from a year ago. Have things, or how much have things changed on the defensive side of the ball?
Of course, when you get when you get a new position coaches, things change a little bit, but nothing's changed too much. We still got the same thing, we still got the same mindset, we still got the same goal.
Coach Sumlin has said that what he's most pleased, or one of the things he's most pleased about, is the fact that the players have bought into his system and his staff has bought into the U of A players. Can we call it a seamless transition, or has it been easier maybe than you thought when the change came?
I think it's been easier than I thought. I thought having a new coach is going to be a little bit of a bumpy road, but it's actually been a smooth process ever since he came in.
BYU comes to town on Saturday night. Now they have a new offensive coordinator, so they don't know a whole lot about what Arizona's going to do, but how about you guys preparing for them? What do you have any certain expectations about what you might see?
When a college team gets a whole new offensive coordinator, you never really know what they're going to do. But we're going based off what they did, what the offensive coach did back at LSU. So we kind of been watching their film and kind of getting their breakdown of getting the idea of what they might do. But you still never really know.
Do you like yourself now as the elder statesman, kind of one of the leaders of the defense?
Yeah. I think I kind of like that role. It's been a long journey, and I'm just blessed to be able to play my last year here.
I was going to say, do you have expectations? Everybody says, okay, we want to win every game, we want to win a championship. That's obvious, but how do you approach your senior season other than that?
I just, I want to end my senior off with a bang, and that's by, doing the typical, winning a lot of games and going to a great bowl game, not just a regular bowl game, not just like Foster Farms. I'm trying to do something big, so hopefully I can just lead my team. We can go get to that big bowl game.
He is offensive lineman Cody Creason. He'll be on the field Saturday night, Wildcats and the BYU Cougars. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Cody, but throughout practice right now, you've been one guy that's probably been in the same spot almost since camp started, where the other 4 positions have kind of fluctuated. Talk about the offensive line and how you've seen it come together over the last month.
Yeah, it's definitely different this year. Everyone's really kind of been rotating around, but over the last week or so, we've definitely come together. Our communication has grown better, and I think we'll be ready come Saturday.
What's different? Will the fans see anything different in the way the Arizona offensive line operates with a different staff this season?
I think it'll be pretty similar. We definitely had 2 great coaches in Coach M and Coach Gilbert. We're up-tempo offense, pretty similar offense, so it'll be pretty much the same thing.
Coach Sumlin has talked about the fact that BYU is going to bring the biggest defense that your team will face this entire season. How do you game plan for that any differently than you would another team?
I think you approach every game pretty much the same. Being in the Pac-12, you're going to see big defenses week in and week out. So I think every week just prepare the same and we'll be fine.
All right. Run versus pass. What's different from your perspective depending on what the play call is?
Well, definitely run is more fun for an offensive lineman because you get to fire out the ball and attack the defensive lineman. Pass, you're mostly looking at what they do and try to protect the quarterback off that.
And because Arizona runs some run-pass option, how important is it for you guys to be alert because the quarterback could obviously go either way?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really affect us that much because we block our assignment, but it's definitely interesting to watch as a fan because we may run and throw on the same play.
Right. Fun to get it started?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Excited for Saturday.
All right. He is Cody Creason, U of A offensive tackle. Cats and the Cougars coming up Saturday night.
Thank you for watching Wildcat Football Weekly, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, home of the free U of A Visa debit card. Get yours today at hughesfcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.